Hello everyone. In this video we are going to discuss about the OpenOffice spreadsheet advanced concepts like consolidate, subtotal, scenario, goal seek and solver. So first we are going to see about consolidate and how it works. Yeah. First of all, what is consolidate? So actually the main purpose of this concept is here we are collecting the data from multiple worksheets or workbooks and we will summarize the whole results into the single worksheet. So let us see by doing practicals here. So assume that this is our workbook. Now here there are 4 sheets are there. First one is the final result. Second one is the PT1 marks, PT2 marks and PT3 marks. So here we have given the marks of the PT1 for the 4 students. Here we have given the marks of the PT2 for 4 students. Here we have given the marks for PT3 for 4 students. Now we have to calculate the final result. So here I have to get the average marks in all 3 PTs. That will be my final result. I want to calculate like that. So but here data is presented different worksheets, not in the single worksheet. So now what you have to do is you have to collect the data from 3 spreadsheets and you have to make an average. Means if I want to get the Ravi marks, so first go to the sheet 1. So here you have to take the Ravi marks 50. Then go to the spreadsheet 2. Here get the marks of Ravi in PT2 45, 50 plus 45 95. After that go to the spreadsheet 3. Here you have to get the marks from PT3. So after taking that you have to calculate the average and you have to keep that marks here. So let us see how to do now. So before getting into that we can give some name for all the 4 cells together. Means that is called as the defining ranges. Means for the particular selected cells we can give some names. So in future whenever you need, so without mentioning the cell names, cell ranges and all the things, just by giving that name you can access that cells. So let us see how to define the name. So here I have selected the 4 cells and then go to the data and click on define range. Means for these 4 cells we are giving one name. So here PT 1 marks. So just I click on PT1 and click add. See this one, PT1 has been added. Now click on OK. Now so go to the P22. Now here select those cells again. After that go to the data and define a range. So here I am giving the name PT underscore 2. Again click on add. Means second range has been created. And again after that move to the third sheet and go here and select those specific cells and go to the data and click on define range. So here type PT underscore 3 and click on add. So now 3 ranges has been added. Just click on OK. Means for this particular selected cells I have given some names. So in future whenever I want to use these cells without giving the cell ranges, means like D5 to D8, so without giving the cell names, simply I can use that name so that 4 cells will be included. So like this I have created the ranges. And here I want to calculate the final marks. So for these cells also you can define a range. So select these things and go to the data and define range. So here also you can give. So this is the final. So that's why I give then final and click on add. So that range also has been added. So finally 4 cell ranges has been created. Final PT1, PT2 and PT3. So whenever I want, by using that name, those specific cells will be included clearly. Now what we have to do, we have to fetch data from these 3 sheets and we have to find the consolidated marks. So for this what you have to do is first go to the data menu and here one option is there, consolidate. Just click on here. After that, so here already some previous data is there. First just remove first, remove. Now here we have the set of functions. So here what I have to do, here we have to calculate the average of the cells. So that's why first select the function name is average, and after doing that, on which cells you want to calculate the average. So first you have to give that cells, means these cells, these and these, means here you have to select the three ranges. So that's why first you have to select the source on which cells you want to perform the average function, average calculation. So first here, what are the ranges you have created there that can be visible here whenever you want to select the range. So first PT1. So PT1 means here you can see that PT1 is the sheet name. PT1 is the sheet name, and D5 to D8. So this is the starting cell D5 and this is the ending cell D8. So like this automatically it has been taken. Why it has been taken automatically? Because here you have defined some ranges. If you select that range, automatically those values will be taken. Or else what you have to do, you have to manually select. So just click on this one. Now you have to go here and you have to select the cells. This much process should be done for selecting the cells. So by defining the ranges, it can be accessed directly. Now first I need PT1 range. So that's why I select PT1. Now click on add. See this one, in consolidation ranges PT1 mark cells has been added. Now what you have to do, now you have to add the PT2 range also. Select the PT2, click on add. See this one, this is the PT2 worksheet. Now after that select the PT3 and just click on add. Now PT3 marks also has been added. So this is the source range, means from where you are taking the data, means from which sheets you want to retrieve the data. So that thing should be exactly specified. Here we are exactly specifying that from which sheets you are accepting the data, as well as from which set of cells you are taking the data. Both the things are specified here in consolidation ranges. After that, your final objective is for finding the final result in these cells. So for this already we have given the range. So you have to move to the copy results to, means where the result should be copied. So here I am selecting the final, means this set of cells has been selected. So means result will be copied in this set of cells. So like this do it, and after that simply just click on OK. See this one, automatically average marks from 3 seats has been calculated for all the students. For one student we will cross check. For suppose Kiran take, final result is 42 marks. In PT1 Kiran got 42, PT2 47, PT3 37. So what is the final value? 42, 47 and 37. What is the value? 84. 84 plus 42. 126. Now 126 by 3. What is the value? 42. So means exactly its value has been calculated. And for suppose here, if I change this 42 to 60, assume that here average mark should be changed. So it has been changed to 48. So for making these changes, what you have to do, in data consolidation itself, you have to put one tick mark here, link to source data. If you remove this, assume that you have removed this thing. Assume that you have removed. In this case, if you make any changes here, those will not be reflected here. But earlier already I did it, so that's why it is not it is reflecting. Yeah. So now assume that now I want to calculate the final result. Go to the consolidate. So already source ranges has been given, and result will be copied to the final result. And in more, I remove the tick mark here, link to source data, and I just clicked on OK. The average has been calculated. For suppose in PT1, Ravi marks has been increased to 70. After that, average also should be increased, but here average remain 47 itself. When the marks was 40 also 47, when the marks become 70, still Ravi marks remains 47 only. Means if you make any changes in the original sheets, those marks will not be reflected in the final sheet. The reason is that here I removed the tick mark on. In more, I removed the tick mark on link to source data. If you put tick mark here, then automatically final, just click OK. So as per the changes in the main sheets, result will be updated. For suppose here Ravi final result average marks is 54. Now in PT2 I changed the 45 to 65. Now in final result 54 average has been changed to 60. So this is how consolidation will be used. That's all. Let us discuss about the subtotals. Now actually the main purpose of this one is, so in a defined set of cells, in defined range of cells, what are the values are there that can be grouped, and after making a groups, certain functions can be applied on each group separately, and the results of each group also will be shown. So let us see by doing practicals. Yeah. For suppose here some data is there, so this is the year, this is the source of income, amount of income people are getting. Now here in 2010, one person is through salary he is getting 50,000, 2010 through business 30,000, through rents 35,000, through interest 42,000. In 2011 he is getting salary as 60,000 and business as 10,000. 2013 from salary we are getting 70,000, farming 70,000. 2012 from only salary they are getting the income. So like this your data has been categorized. So data has been given. Like this data has been given. Now what I want to do is I want to find out the total income in each year. So actually in Excel sheet, actually in spreadsheet, we'll know how to find the total income. Simply you have to keep the sum formula here, sum, and after that select the cells and close it. So obviously you'll get the total income in all years. Now what I want is I want to find the total income in each year. Means for each year I want to find the subtotal for 2010, subtotal for 2011, subtotal for 2012, subtotal for 2013. All should come at the same time without putting too much efforts. So let us see how to do. So first select the cells. What are the cells you want to include, including the headings also. Select those cells from B1 to D10. After that here go to the data, and here one option is there, subtotals. Just click on this. So here after coming here there is one option is there, group by. Group by means on which basis you are grouping. Here I am making the grouping based on the year, because in 2010 whatever the income I have, that should be grouped together. 2011 whatever the income is there, that should be grouped together. Means on which basis you are making a groups, that should be decided. So means all 2010 will make as one group, all 2011 will make as second group, all 2012 will make as the third group, 2013 will made as fourth group. So here that's why here you have to select the group by, on which basis you are making as the group, that should be given. So after making a groups, what we are doing, we are finding the subtotals of what, income. So here I want to find the total income for each year. Means total income for each group, 2010 group, 2011 group, 2012 group, 2013 group. So that's why here calculate subtotals for income. So just put tick mark on the income column, so that sum function will be applied on income column. After that here there are some standard functions are there. So what are the function you want, you can include here. So just click on sum. If you want to count we'll discuss later. So just click on the sum first because I want to find the total. Now click on OK. See this one? If you clearly see this one, in 2010, what are the income they got? The total income has been here given here. So this is the subtotal for 2010. So this is the subtotal for 2011, means 60,000 plus 10,000 is 70,000. So here, based on the year, they made a group. All 2010 made a single group, and for that group subtotal has been calculated. And after that, for 2011, all such incomes are grouped together and they find the subtotal for 2011. After that 2012, and after that 2013. So along with the subtotals, grand total also has been given here. So in all years, what is the total income from all the sources? That is also has been given here. So this is the way you can find out the subtotals. So let us discuss about the scenarios now. So generally scenario is nothing but it is a saved set of cell values for calculations. So based on these values only, some formulas can be written, according to that results will be generated. Now here for set of cell values you can give some name. So that thing is called as the scenario name. So like this you can create any number of scenarios here. After creating the scenarios, you can switch between the two scenarios. Not only two, any number of scenarios you can create. Later on you can make switching. Now, so for suppose you selected one scenario now. So based on the values in a current scenario, these calculations will be manipulated. Now we are going to discuss with practical so that you will understand everything will be clear. After that, so whenever you want to print the spreadsheet, what are the values present in the current scenario, those values only will be printed. Remaining all other scenarios will be hidden. So let's get into the practicals directly. Yeah. So for suppose here one table is there. So here I have written the different boards like CBSE, State Board and ICSE. So here I am calculating, every board has some pass percentage criteria. I am assuming that CBSE pass percentage is minimum pass cutoff. If any student want to pass, they should get minimum 33 marks. In case of State Board, assume that I am assuming that 45% cutoff. In every subject, that student should score minimum 45%. In ICSE, assume that 50. So like this I have taken some values. And after that, in each board, I am giving the maximum marks in each subject. For suppose in CBSE, I am assuming that maximum mark for each subject is 70. So means out of 70, they should score 33% for getting passed in the exam. In State Board, maximum marks is 100. Out of 100, they should score 45%. And ICSE, out of 90, they should score 50%. So this is the criteria they have given. Now I have to calculate the pass marks. So how to calculate? Simply you have to put a formula here. So put equal to first maximum marks in subject into what is the minimum cutoff percentage they have given. So that thing has given in D5. And after that divide with 100. So in CBSE, out of 70, students should score 23 marks minimum. If the student score above 23, that student will be declared as the pass. In the similar manner, we have to calculate the pass marks for other boards also. In State Board, out of 100, they have to score minimum 45. In ICSE, out of 90, they should score minimum 45. Now here I am making as 48%, assume that. So they should score minimum 43.2. So like this I have calculated for each board pass percentage. Assume that these are the pass percentage rules in year 2019. Now in 2020 they changed this pass cutoff marks. So what is the minimum marks for getting passed in the examination? Assume that they are going to change to new values. So what we are doing, first I am saving the present values in as one scenario. So first select all the cells first, and after that go to the tools and here select the scenarios and here give a name. So this is the minimum pass marks for getting passed in exam in 2019. Just give the year, and after that just remove the copy back. Tick mark here should be removed, and then just click OK. Now here one drop down symbol is there, in that you can select the scenario. So this is the cutoff marks in 2019 for all three boards. Like this it has been saved. Now just a second, I will do it again. Color is not that much clear. Go to tools, scenarios. So here I am giving 2019, removing this, and here if you want to give any color you can give this one, allow. Yeah, so like this one scenario has been created, that is for 2019. So means this set of values 33, 45 and 48 has been saved in the scenario under 2019. After that, now in 2020 they have changed the pass percentage criteria. CBSE has been increased to 40%. Now state board has been changed to 42. ICSE has been decreased to 45. Assume that they have decreased, like they have changed it like this. Now again I want to change the current pass percentage values also. Again select all the things and go to the tools and create another scenario. So here give the name 2020, remove the copy back, and this one is common, same as the keep it as the yellow. So good looking, yeah, yellow, and just click on OK. Yeah, now I have changed. So here I have saved the two set of values. So here in one drop down option will be there. If you click on the drop down menu, here it will show you the two scenarios names. Scenario means it is the set of saved values, in simple definition, set of saved values. Now if I click on 2019, see this one, previous year pass percentage cutoff values has been given. According to these values, this pass marks will be calculated. Now here I am selecting the second scenario 2020. Now, so here based on the values in the scenario 2, these minimum pass marks will be calculated. So finally we are concluding that scenario means set of saved values, means each scenario will have the different set of values. So what are the scenario you have selected, based on that values only result will be calculated. So this is the minimum pass marks for 2019 and these are the minimum pass marks for 2020. Like this you can switch between scenarios. So here whenever you want to take the printout of the sheet, so if you click on the printout of the sheet, so here it always display the values in the current scenario. So right now 2020 scenario has been selected, that's why if I take printout, so 40, 42, 45 will be taken as the input. According to that values will be computed. Now if I select the 2019 scenario, now if I try to take the printout, so values in the current scenario will be printed on the page. So that's all about the scenarios. Let us discuss about the goal seek now. So till now what we are doing is just we are giving some input values. Based on the input values we are finding the output values. So till now this is the approach we are doing in the spreadsheets. Now what is the purpose of goal seek is, it is used to perform the reverse calculations. Means here output is already known. Output is already known. So for getting that output, what should be the input? That input value should be calculated by the user. So for this we are going to use one important tool that is called as the goal seek, and we are trying to find the input. So if you do some practicals you will get it very clearly. So directly let's get into the practicals. Yeah, for suppose here these are the student marks in different subjects. In English 70 marks, Math 60, Physics 42 and Chemistry. Till now that marks is not known. Assume that student didn't write that exam till now. Now here I am calculating the total by keeping the formula. So which formula? By using the sum formula. So I find out the total. Yeah. Now my question is that, so for getting the total as 250, what is my question? For getting the total as 250, what should be the marks for chemistry? Means by giving which marks in chemistry cell, total will become 250. So means here our target output is 250. Here our target output is 250. For getting the 250 as the output, what should be the chemistry value? Means what should be the input value for chemistry? That is our task here. Now let us see. So our target is 250. Remember that. Now, so what you have to do is first go to the tools and select the option goal seek. So after coming here, now first you have to select the formula cells. Means where you are finding the total. In which cell you are finding the total. In which cell I am finding the total? Here. 172 is there. No? This is the cell. So here select this one and select this cell. Where you have written the sum formula. So D9 is the formula where sum formula has been written. And after that target value. What should be the desired output? So here I want that total marks of all subjects should be 250 exactly. So that is my target. So for getting 250, what should be the input value for chemistry? So here you have to select that one. Chemistry means here you have to find out the input for chemistry marks. That's why select the cell where you have to place the chemistry marks. Now I have selected the D8 and OK. So if you carefully observe that here we have given three things. Formula cell means where you are finding the total. Target value, what should be the target total? 250. And variable cell means you are where you are entering the input value for the particular subject. Means here we have to find out the marks of chemistry for getting the target as 250. So I have done all the things. Now just click on OK. See this one. So goal 6 successful. Insert result 78 into current cell. Means in a chemistry, if I get the 78 marks, if student gets 78 marks in chemistry, they will get the total as the 250. So calculations has been already done. If you click on S, this 78 value will be replaced in that cell. Just click on S. Now you can see that 78 has been placed and your target result is 250 have got achieved. So this is simple thing about the goal seek. So finally in overall what we are doing, so we are fixing the output first, and for getting that output what should be the input value, that's what we are calculating here. That's all about the goal seek. So our next topic is solver. So actually solver is almost same as the goal seek. So there is only small difference is that, so in goal seek what we are doing, for a given output we are finding the one input value. So when it comes to the solver, here for getting the desired output we have to find out more than one unknown values. That is the simple thing. So while doing the practicals you will get it everything clear. So that is the only difference between solver and goal seek. For suppose if you are trying to find the single input value for the desired output, then goal seek and solver both are same. In case when you are trying to find out more than one input values for getting the desired output, then we have to use the concept of solver. So let us do by doing the practicals. You will get it, you can understand easily. So here, so I want to purchase certain number of books and pens, and here I have to take quantity, price and cost also. For suppose I want to purchase 2 books and 3 pens. Assume that each book cost is around 50 rupees and each pen cost is around 25 rupees. Assume that. Now what will be the final cost will be calculated? How do final cost will be calculated? Simply here multiply the quantity and price. Automatically you will get the total cost. In the same manner you have to multiply the total quantity of the pens and price of each pen. So this is the total cost for 2 books, this is the total cost for 2 pens. Now how do overall cost will be calculated? Simply by finding the sum of both the things. Yeah. So this is the total cost of books and pens. So for 175 rupees I can purchase 2 books and 3 pens. So like this generally we write the formulas. So we are giving the inputs and we are getting the outputs. Now our concept is Here I will decide the output first, means total amount I will decide as the 500. Assume that I am deciding the total amount as 500. Yeah. So this should be our output. So this is my desired result is 500. It should be displayed in this area. Now for 500 rupees, how many books and how many pens you can purchase? So means you have to find out the quantity of books as well as quantity of pens for 500 rupees. That's your concept now. So for this, how to do? So first go to the tools and select the option solver. After going there, so where do you are calculating the total cost? In cell D6. Select that cell. That should be your target cell. That should be your target cell is D6. And after that, what is your target amount in that cell? You have to fix that. What is your target amount? 500. So that's why just I have written 500. After writing that, now which two input cells you want to find out? So here we have to find out the number of books and number of pens you can purchase for 500 rupees with this price list. So you have to find out the number of books as well as number of pens. So that's why you have to select these two cells, means you have to find the inputs for these two cells. So I have selected B4 and B5. This is the cell B4, this is the cell B5. Now I have did it. Now after that, you can place some conditions on these input cells, means based on that criteria only that input value should be predicted. So that criteria should be specified in the limiting conditions. Now, so here this is the quantity for books. Select this cell here in cell reference. Now here you can give some condition. So what are the minimum number of books you can purchase? So minimum 2 books should be purchased. That's why minimum value should be 2 I have given. When it comes to the pens, here now select the cell B5. So this is the quantity for cell pens. Now here what are the minimum number of books, pens you want to take? So I want to purchase minimum 3 pens. So these two criteria I have given. Along with that, you have to specify one more criteria on these cells. What are the value predicted? That should be the integer, means it should not be in the fraction. 2.5, 3.5 like this should not be there, because you cannot purchase 2.5 books. You can purchase only 2 books only. So that's why you have to select the number of books as the integer and come to the number of pens quantity also make it as the integer. Yeah. So now we have given all the things. So here target cell means where you are getting the total cost. What is the target value for this cell? 500. So that's why I have given value of. So for which two values you are predicting the input? B4 and B6, means quantity of books and quantity of pens. So these are some limiting conditions on the cells B4 and B5. After that, just click on solve. See this one here, for 500 rupees the quantity of books and quantity of pens has been predicted like this. So here you can purchase 2 books and 16 pens. Simple. If you want to keep the same result, so just click on the keep result. So same values will be placed in your worksheet. For suppose, again go to the tools and solver, and here assume that I have selected the minimum value as the 1000, means so here our budget is, our target output is 1000 rupees. So out of 1000 rupees, how many books and how many pens you can purchase? So now here again go to the tools, solver. So our target is 1000 rupees. Remaining all the things are same. For suppose here I have to purchase minimum 5 books. I can take. Now just click on solve. See this one. Here it has taken for out of 1000 rupees. It can take minimum books as the 5 and pens as the 30. That has been calculated randomly. If you want to keep this result with you, just click on keep result. Otherwise just click on restore previous, so that old result will come back. So this is the way solver will be used for predicting the input values for getting the desired output. That's all about this.